We're 2 weeks away from the October 14th annular solar eclipse. Where will you be during the eclipse and what will it look like for you? Today I'm going to tell you about 5 resources that you can use to find out when the eclipse is happening for your region, what the eclipse will look like in the sky, and where to look in the sky in your exact location so that you can plan out your setup beforehand. Before we go into the resources, I want to say that if you live in the path of annularity as highlighted in the darkest area in the center here, I'm very envious of you, because you'll be able to see the entire ring of fire. The only 2 things that you may want to know about from this video is when it's happening for you and where to look in the sky. So let's get started. First resource here is timeanddate.com. They provide a really cool interactive eclipse map. This is one of the best resources out there for every eclipse, including solar and lunar. I'll link to this specific page in the description below so you can go and explore yourself. When you click on the map, you get a wealth of information, including the duration of the eclipse, when the partiality begins, when it ends, as well as when maximum starts and stops. If you're in the path of annularity, it also gives you an additional information on when full begins and full ends. And one awesome stat it provides you is the obscuration. So this is how much of the sun will be blocked by the moon, and here it's 90%. And another cool fact is that it gives you the average cloud cover for that area for that day, which is pretty cool, but again, this is just the average cloud cover. Don't expect that this is what you'll get. One limitation to know about this map is that if you zoom in, there's a limit to how much you can zoom in. So if you want to go straight to your block, unless you know exactly where it is on the map, you won't be able to get that precise information. But when it comes to the eclipse, you don't really need to know that. But you can also search for wherever you are. So I'm in Arlington, Massachusetts, and it'll take me where I am, and I can see that I'm only going to get 17% of the sun blocked, which is fine for me because I will be seeing the total eclipse next year. So I'll link to this in the description below. Go in and explore. Second resource here is xjubier.free.fr. This is created by eclipse hunter Xavier Jubier. I believe he's French. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And this is pretty much just an overlay of his information on Google Maps. And when you click on the map here, you also get a lot of information here. It's even more than what we see in time and date. So we have the start of the partial eclipse, start of the annular eclipse, maximum, end of annular, and end of partial. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I hover over this little image here, it changes. So it shows you exactly what the sun will look like. And you can follow the moon's path, and I think that's pretty helpful. It also gives you an overlay when you're over the maximum. You can see on the map here that it does show you where the shadow of the sun is at that specific time. And when I head over to where I am, unlike the time and date, I can zoom into exactly where I am. I am around here somewhere in Arlington. I'm going to click on a random area, and I only have 3 stats, but I can see that the moon is just going to graze the sun on the bottom. And this is a pretty accurate animation of what we will see. And I also get the obscuration statistics here, 17.41%, which is the same as time and date. That's because it's all in the math. Link to this in the description below as well. Go in and explore. The third resource is Stellarium. I use Stellarium all the time. It's been featured in my channel many times over the years. It's completely free and absolutely amazing. So when you first open the app, if you hover your mouse over the left-hand side, you can open your location and make sure it's set correctly to wherever you are. So I set this into San Antonio, Texas, because I know annularity will be there. I am in Arlington, Massachusetts, so it's way far from where I will be, but that's my location for this video. You can close that up, and you can click on the time and date to manipulate when we are looking. So we can do 10 and then 14. You can just type it in, and then it'll be at 1 o'clock. So let's see. So let's look for the sun. There's the sun. I think we missed it. So anyways, if you double click on the sun, it'll keep the sun centered. And if we open the time back up again, we can see exactly when it's looking. So if we start back at like 10, let's close this up and then start using the forward button to see what the motion of the moon will look like. And this is what it'll look like from like 10 to, and yeah, if we go back a little bit. So San Antonio will see ring of fire, and this is what it'll look like at 11:55 a.m. San Antonio time, because that's central. Is that central or mountain? No, central time. Yeah. So this is what it'll look like from where they are. So Stellarium is amazing. This is a very accurate representation of what the sun and the moon will look like during the eclipse. There are many other tools within Stellarium that can help you on that day, including field of view calculators and zoom of your eyepieces. Those two measurements aren't exactly fully accurate, so take those with a grain of salt, but it's really good enough and it will do their job if that's what you're looking for. I'll link to their website in the description below so you can download it. They have the software available for every platform, including a mobile app. The fourth resource is a mobile app, and unlike the other four resources, this one is not free, and the app is named SunSurveyor. Although there's a Lite version of this app which is free, it doesn't have the AR functionality that I'll be demoing for you today. When you open the app, click on the menu and click on Live View. This will turn on your camera and give you an AR view which will show you the sun. This is what the sun looks like at the time of recording. It's a tiny bit off, but it's fairly accurate. It's not perfect, but actually is really good enough for planning. Now we can skip to the future. Let's select October 14th. And then we can set the time, and let's go to around 12:30 p.m. And when we look back up at the sky, this is what the eclipse will look like on that day. The scale of the eclipse isn't accurate at all, but the path of the eclipse is. So I can move forward in time using the bottom bar, and we can see where the sun will be near the end of the eclipse around 2:30 p.m. So if I set up my telescope here, or my camera here, I know that I'll have the full view of the eclipse from the beginning of partial to the end of partial here in Massachusetts. And the final resource is another mobile app, and this one is free. It's called SkyView Free. The name suggests that there is a better paid version, and it is correct. I do own it, and it's pretty good, but I don't use it as much as I used to. But for the purposes of planning for the eclipse, the free version is more than good enough to do what you need to do. So let's see what the app looks like. Once you open the app, it shows you the non-AR version by default. So what you want to do is click on Menu, and then click on Display, and make sure that Augmented Reality Camera is selected. It may ask you for permission to use your camera, which you can accept only this time, ask every time, or just allow. Once AR is enabled, we can see the position of the sun in the sky. Although it's cloudy, I verified the location with SunSurveyor that it's actually there. And as I mentioned before, since they're all using the same hardware, the location of the celestial objects in the sky is the same. Next, we can go back to the menu and click Date and Time, and let's change it to October 14th around 1:30 p.m. Alright, so the overlay here isn't as impressive as the other apps we've used, but the position of the sun and the moon are very accurate, again, following SunSurveyor. The only negative about this app is that you can't go forward or backward in time easily. You'll have to go back to the menu and change the date and time there, and come back to the screen. Other photo planning apps that you can check out include PhotoPills and Planet Pro. They also have their own AR versions that you can use to plan out your shots, and they'll tell you where the sun is going to be in your sky. Neither of the apps are free, but once you get used to them, they're incredibly useful and could be worth the cost for you. And all the resources I mentioned today can be used for any celestial event, not just this eclipse or just eclipses in general, with the one exception being SunSurveyor being specific to the sun, moon, and the Milky Way galaxy. But that's where SkyView Pro may come in handy for you. If you have another favorite resource for planning, let me know in the comments below. I'm always interested in learning about new things. If you still need eclipse glasses, be sure to check out my video where I'm still giving away eclipse glasses before the October 14th eclipse. Deadline is October 6th. And I'm curious to know where you will be for the eclipse, and either way, I hope that any of the resources I mentioned today is of help to you no matter where you are. I wish you all clear skies.